get you through the funks? And I'm paraphrasing what I remember of your question, but essentially it seems like, what do you do when motivation runs low and you're kind of just getting by and you can't really get some fire under your butt? Well, since this is the number one question I'm always asked and I repeat it over and over and over, I'm going to go with my traditional answers and probably throw in a few things you may not have thought of. But the biggest thing is, number one, you have to be your own boss. You have to be the boss of yourself. If you're constantly looking to other people or things to motivate you, that's where we have to get very good at looking inside. So one of the best exercises I do is I'll get out a piece of paper and I'll write in the center of this paper, what do I want? And your wants are going to change over time. Your wants may change from week to week or month to month or year to year, and that's normal. That's called life. And we adjust and adapt as appropriate, but there's a time and a place to be loyal to a previous goal versus to set a new goal. So when you can get very clear on what is it you want, now I'm not just talking in your body. I mean, if you want, fitness, nutrition, but what do you want in general? What do you want of your career? What do you want of your life? What do you want of your spirit? What do you want out of this entire mortal experience? When you can get real with yourself and think about if you are on a trajectory to become that. And, maybe do this in a quiet moment, turn off the music, be more contemplative. But you will find that when you ask yourself those hard questions, that you actually have the solutions inside. You do. But oftentimes we get so busy in the doing of life that we forget to pop our head up and say, why am I doing what I'm doing? And that's when we get overwhelmed. That's when we feel like you lack direction, you're drowning in everything. And that's when it gets really tough to stay motivated. But if all of your daily actions are adding up to help you achieve that desired outcome of what is it you want, that's when we stay motivated. I actually just got off the phone with a client tonight, and I have her in a very, very aggressive plan right now. And when I told her she was ready for the aggressiveness, I'm going to tell you what I told her, which was, you are at the point that I need you to be more willing to cut off your left hand than to deviate from your plan. That is how important what you are doing is right now for your health, for your life. And that has remained with her. And every time we talk on the phone, she says back to me, she says, I would rather cut off my left hand than to deviate. Now, guys, that's an aggressive approach. I do not expect that of everyone. But for her, that is what it took. So since she is in that mindset, I asked her tonight, I said, do you have a daily form of accountability that you look forward to checking off or congratulating yourself on at the end of the day? And hi, Christine, and hi, Abby. So you guys have joined. And she said, no, I don't, and she's in such an aggressive plan. She has to send me an audio text every single night telling me how she did. And she's like, I didn't think of that. I said, let me tell you a story. So back in 2012, when I was very, very first making my humongous change, I had a paper on my door in my bedroom that it was 5 boxes across, and then it had just tons of boxes down, and each one of those boxes represented one day. And I had gold stars that I would put in that box, and I only got a gold star if I was perfect. Now remember, I was on a very aggressive plan again. And it became so intense for me because of the changes that I knew I needed to make, that I lived to get that gold star every single night. That was every choice from sun up to sundown was, will this deter me from getting my gold star? Will this make it possible for me to congratulate myself? Because if I don't get that gold star, I'm not going to be adding up to my goals, and I cannot have that. I would rather die than not reach my goal. That's how intense it was for me. And I think this is the problem when people ask me, why can't I get motivated? I'll be honest, it's because you don't want it enough. You don't have a compelling enough why. And if you don't have a compelling enough why, no, you're never going to get motivated. Now, the problem is so many people use aesthetics and the look of the body, or the pant size, or the scale weight, to try and manipulate themselves into making change, or they try and punish themselves into change by telling themselves mean things in the mirror and saying, oh, you fatty, like, you got to get your butt moving. I hear this so much, and you guys, if you're in that approach, you will fail. I'm telling you right now, you will fail, and you will continue to fail. The only thing that gets you to change is to have a desired outcome that is so compelling, that there is so much purpose in it. So what is that? Is maybe it is. Maybe it is weight loss. And you are saying, so much of my happiness depends on me reaching this goal. Perhaps it's going to impact your intimate life more than you have any idea, and that's going to be a big part of your marriage. I mean, you have to dig deep to find a reason why. What about the spirit? What about the spirit inside of your body? Think about, what is your view on the purpose of life? What is your view? What is the purpose of the body? Is it here just to eat, drink, and be merry? Is it here just to live our lives and then suffer, oh, it hurts today, or oh, it has this? I mean, get real with yourself. Are you simply treating the vehicle for your life like a piece of garbage? It's not a question anyone can answer but yourself. And Amelia, I'm talking about your own personal accountability. I really do not believe, I talk about this in my book I'm writing right now that comes out in April. I am not a fan of accountability with somebody else who's not living a higher standard of life than you. If someone is either at your level or below, and I'm talking about in the category, so for what we're talking about in our purposes, in nutrition and fitness and their mindset, it's pointless to be accountable to someone that's at your level or below. It won't do anything for you. The only way to be accountable is someone living at a higher standard, because that's what pulls you up and inspires you and helps you keep going. You see there's a higher standard you adhere to. So anyhow, but what I'm talking about with my story of these gold stars that I got every day was a personal accountability. Nobody ever saw that sheet. Not one person. Nobody ever saw that. And the only way people know about it is because I tell people about it. It was 100% for me, and I'll tell you what, I did not realize that I was one day, one meal, one workout, one day at a time getting those gold stars. And I thought, my body will never change, my body will never change, my body will never change. This is hard, but I'm going to keep going through because I got to get my gold stars. And I became so obsessed with the process of getting gold stars that one day I looked in the mirror and I compared my pictures to 4 weeks previous, and it was the first time that I was like, it's working. And that feeling of elation, can't describe it. I'll never forget that. And some of you guys have experienced that. And if you've experienced it, I would love for you to comment and tell us what that was like, and remember what it was like. The body will constantly be a struggle until you become so in love with these principles that they are you, that you cannot function without them, that you freak out if you can't do them, that you freak out if you can't get your vegetables, that you freak out if you can't eat, because you're like, not because of fear, but because of, oh no, my body won't function. How am I going to make this happen? That's where we want to get. If you're struggling to get yourself in the gym working out, you've got to push yourself to the point where it's, how am I going to function? How am I going to have energy if I don't go work out? And you're thinking about your day and there's no time, and you're like, there's no time in my day, so I guess I just have to wake up 30 minutes early. That's the only time to get it in. I have to have my workout. You have to get to that point. If you want this to be a true lifestyle change, that's what it takes. Now, I'm not saying you have to work out every day. I mean, I'm a big believer of bare bones basics. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and eat strategically. Eat strategically. I don't care if it's perfect portion sizes. And strategically, guys, does not mean that you are in cutting phase. Eating strategically means you are pairing foods wisely. So you can be at maintenance calories. You can be pairing protein, veggies, carbs, fats. Absolutely. very mindful and you do not just go, it's what it is. Because I'm not trying to lose fat right now. Bull crap, if you're pulling that attitude, you're not in a lifestyle change. Sorry, not there yet. Keep trying. When you can eat strategically, whether you are cutting, maintaining, or gaining, that's our lifestyle change we're going after. The inner workings of your body are powerful, but until you decide to tap into those and you decide to actually apply the principles that you learn and that I have put all out there, I can't believe sometimes I look at every piece of content between my YouTube, podcast, and blog and book. I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, people could seriously, I don't know. It's all out there. I hope that helps. I hope that makes sense. But the biggest thing is you just gotta look inside, right? You've been there before. My mind has totally been there before, and I know it's possible to do it again. It is. It is. And here's the thing is we all have slumps. Hi, Shannon. We all have these slumps, and it's very normal. But if you've ever heard me say we get very good at picking ourselves back up again, that's what a lifestyle change is. And so even when things are chaotic and tragedy hits and difficulties arise, maybe it's not difficult, a death or a sickness or relationship problems, job loss. I mean, it could be so many things in life you guys could be experiencing right now. And let's be honest, life is tough. Life can sometimes smack you back and forth and a little bit more, and then drive you in the ground, and then bury you with its foot, and then bury you in a hole, and then put a flower on top, and then take off the flower and burn it down. You know what I mean? So in the process of life, adhere to the basics and don't make it such a dramatic shift when you are able to dial things in a little bit more. Let me be honest with you guys. This past summer, things for me were extremely crazy. I finally was at a point I just didn't have an option to food prep to the situation I was in, and I was eating literally chicken nuggets, frozen chicken nuggets. I was still getting a veggie at every meal, but I ate frozen chicken nuggets for 2 meals, and then I had like a frozen dinner. It was like a protein dinner, like one more of the fit meals. I just did not have time. I was working like 18 hours, 20 hours a day. It was insane this summer. And there were times that I just did not have the power to cope. I did not, and I would go get the bag of Reese's peanut butter cups or whatever it was, and there were definitely, I was not on my A game, and I started drinking diet soda again, and it wasn't so much that I had gotten weak. The question I had to step back and ask myself was how can we rebalance? Because it's usually not the food that's the issue, it's life that's the issue. So you have to step back and look at your life and say, how can I make sense of all of this? How can I bring in a little more reason, a little more organization here? Perhaps. I mean, I hear this story a lot where it's like people have to work, 2 or 3 jobs to survive, and they're just working and working and working and working, and there's no time for anything else. And it's in those situations that you have to stick to your bare bones basics, and you do what you have to when you need to, for sure. But the biggest thing for me when I shifted back and felt like, okay, I'm back, which was in July, actually, with the 8-week challenge. And that group, if any of you guys were in that 8-week challenge, like, that was such a special thing for me. And I'll always look back on that, because that was a big shift for me out of that more, it wasn't complacent, it was coping, for sure. It was coping. And how do you think that feels, teaching this, and then not being able to do it? Not out of desire, but just I didn't have that extra steam. I just didn't have it. I didn't have the extra push, and I was in survival mode. And how many of you guys have been there or are there right now? So I want you to know I get it. I really get it, and it was frustrating. And I remember how many times I would write in my journal and be like, what's it going to take? Like, what's it going to take for you to get going again? Like, you know how amazing you can feel, and I mean, why don't you just stay up 1 hour longer and prep some food? And I'm like, no, 4 hours of sleep, like, I've got to get it, and then I thought, well, you could outsource this or this or this, and And so, looking at solutions, and especially since everyone I've seen join this is a female, I've showed a few guys that I'm coaching. I don't know if you guys have seen the YouTube video. It's not about the nail. If you have not seen that, you need to YouTube it and watch it with your significant other. Us women sometimes like to talk about our problems, but not solve them, right? Give me a thumbs up if that's ever been you. You're like, no, I just want to talk about it because it's just hard. And I just want the answer. Okay. My rule of thumb is you can commiserate and be upset and talk about the feelings for 30 seconds, maybe maximum 3 minutes. And then you need to get into solution mode. And then you need to write down what is the problem. What are 3 possible solutions to fix the problem? And then you get to work and you get out of the emotional mode because there's no solutions in the emotion. So perhaps sometimes it's that we live too much in the emotion and you've got to just get yourself right back out and say, look, this isn't doing anything, does not do anything to just continue perpetuating that misery and that self-defeat and pity. It doesn't do anything. And as one who's pulled myself out of pity parties probably every day for my entire life, how many of you guys can agree with that? We all do it. You have to be very mindful, and that's why we focus on empowering thoughts. That's why we focus on being the best person we can. That's why we focus on little rituals, like what are you doing in the morning? How many times have you heard me say gratitude prayers in the morning, positive affirmations, first 30 minutes, the neurons in your brain focus on those things? It's because I've had to learn these things. I mean, I had to really train myself to do these things because I used to be on antidepressants. I used to be on bipolar medication. I used to be on so much of the things that people are on when they come to me for coaching. Now, I'm not saying that people shouldn't be on those things. I'm saying for me, I was able to figure out through my nutrition and my mindset power that I could be okay without them, that I didn't need to rely on them. And I had been in therapy for years. I mean, I have a very addictive A-type personality, but, what it really came down to was I needed to be my own solution. And the solution wasn't that hard. The solution was clarity. The solution was knowing what I want, get real with myself, and bring in discipline and stop the pity parties. And find a way to power myself from within and get the outside to meet it. And that's been the journey I've been on for almost 5 years now. And it's a hard journey. It's for sure hard, but I look back. And how many of you guys can look back and say, it's been all worth it? And that's all life's about, is this journey. So wherever you're at in that journey, just embrace it, but do not perpetuate it. Do not settle for drowning in molasses. It's better to float on top of molasses. That's what someone told me a few weeks ago. I was like, sometimes don't you feel like that? And they're like, just float on top of it. I'm like, that's a good way to say it. Be your own solution. That's right, Shannon. And I think that's just what it comes down to. So I hope that each of you will really look inside tonight, wherever you're at. Today is December 1st. Don't let one more month go by that you're going to just sit back and say, well, later when I can. Think, what can I do? What can I bring control over? What can I bring into my life? Because none of us will be perfect. None of us. But we know principles, and we can bring them in. So maybe you're in an aggressive phase, and that's when you need to be like 90 to 100% on the strategy, and that's when I would hope you're really working with me. But maybe what most people are is you're just trying to be mindful, and you're just trying to have a good, healthy lifestyle. And if you're in that phase, focus on your principles. Protein, carbs over fats, veggies every meal, drink your water, take your supplements, connect with your body every day. Positive mindset. I hope you guys are enjoying the power sessions I've been doing on Power Your Life today. I have episodes come out every Monday and Thursday. It's all designed to help you guys with these very things. This mental discipline. How do you talk yourself through pain? How do you talk yourself through heartache and misery and trials and opposition? If you don't have a go-to strategy for how you handle stress or opposition, that's why you're frustrated. That's why you're drowning in molasses. you need to have a go-to strategy. So I would encourage you, if you have not seen those sessions yet, please go start at the beginning and go download the 5-part audiobook, 5 mental discipline tools you need to plow through resistance at poweryourlifetoday.com. So I hope this has been helpful. I answered the 2 questions that were asked. Thank you all for being here, and I look forward to hearing from you. Definitely post any follow-up questions below, and I'll jump in there for a little bit later tonight. And I will talk to you later. Power your body, one meal, one workout, one day at a time.